Hello everyone, it's Dale here with a new video from the recent trade series. The goal of this series is to show you how to apply everything that I'm teaching you, all the trading methods, and how I use them in real trading, so you can learn from that and use it as I do as well. What I want to show you today is a trade which I took last week on the euro dollar, and I'm going to show you with the market replay function so you can see how it actually played out in real time. So if you now check out the chart, this is how it looked like last week. And at this point, I like to show you how I selected that level, which I was later trading. So what I saw here was that the euro was in a strong selling activity here. And I saw that it stopped for a while in here. So I looked into this whole trend area with volume profile and found out that there were rather heavy volumes here in this little rotation where the price stopped between this selling activity and this selling activity. So I thought that this area was a place where sellers were adding to their short positions, right? So as you can see on the volume profile, it's a very, very important area. And I decided that I wanted to trade from this. But not only because of this volume profile setup, but also because of there was a weekly point of control here. That means that the heaviest volumes throughout the whole week were traded there. If you take a look at this profile, the gray one on the left, then it shows the volume distribution throughout the whole week. The heaviest volumes were right here. This is the weekly point of control, and it was at this heavy volume zone which I found before, right? So we have this heavy volume zone, we have the weekly point of control, and there was one more additional thing to that. And the thing was, if I zoom out a bit, the thing was that the price was reacting to this area before, right? So in the past, this was a support because the price was reacting here, right? That's why it was a support. And when the price blew past that support in here, it turned into resistance, right? So we have three setups, two volume profile setups, one price action setup. And additionally to this, there's also one more price action setup here. It is a fair value gap. Highlighted in red, this is the beginning of the fair value gap. And here, highlighted in red, is the whole fair value gap, right? And this is the beginning of it. In a short trade scenario, I like to trade from the beginning of a fair value gap, which is from here. And this is the place where everything aligns, right? All the setup aligned. So that's why I selected the level here, which was at 1.1732. This blue line, this was the level. And for all those reasons which I showed you, I wanted to go short from there. So that was the plan. But this is just a part of it, because you need to enter a trade only if you have a plan, and not only for trade entry, but also stop loss and take profit, right? You need to have the whole thing planned in advance. So stop loss placement, I usually place my stop loss orders behind heavy volume zones. In this case, this was this heavy volume zone, and I placed the stop behind it. So this was the stop loss. And the next thing I had to determine was the take profit. Now, I usually like to take profit before the price reaches a heavy volume zone. So what I do is I use the volume profile like this, and I want to see how the volumes were distributed in the area where the price was going towards the level, right? And look for heavy volumes there, and I want to take profit before the price reaches the heavy volume zone. In this case, the first heavy volume cluster was rather far. This one, it was rather far. I usually don't want to trade with that big risk-reward ratio. So I was searching for something closer. What caught my eye here was this fair value gap, highlighted in green. And when I saw this, I was like, okay, the price likes to react to the fair value gaps. And in this scenario, basically bullish scenario, it is the beginning of the fair value gap where the price likes to react. So this is how I determined to take profit, right? The beginning of the bullish fair value gap. Now, let me show you how the trade played out. I'll just zoom this in a little bit so you can see this clearly, and I'll print the stop loss and take profit lines here. Alright, so this was the stop loss, this was the short trade entry, and this was the take profit. Now let me play this out using the market replay. So now the price hit the level, I entered the trade with a limit order. I'm usually using the limit orders to enter my trades so I don't miss any if I'm, for example, not around the computer. But usually I am around the computer, but I simply don't want to think about whether I enter the trade or no, so I simply use the limit orders. So at this time I entered that trade and I was waiting for it to play out. So far, not really any reaction. Now at this point I was glad that the price was moving below the short trade entry. There were two little pin bars, so all looked good at this point. So far so good. At this point everything looks good. Price is hitting this VWAP line, which could potentially mean a little support, but I wasn't worried about that too much because this was just like a minor support. At this point the price hit the trade entry again, so I was a little worried about that, but you know, the plan is just stick to the trade. And sometimes they test the trade entry multiple times, so this is a thing which could happen, so nothing to be too stressed about. And right here, it was so quick that I barely managed to move the stop loss to the reaction point, which is here. This is the highest point of this reaction to my level. And I barely managed to do that before the price reached the take profit. But when the price reaches like 75% of the intended take profit, then I move the stop loss to the highest point of the reaction. I call it the reaction point, and this is simply to secure the position, right? I'm not securing the position to break even because, as you saw here, the price sometimes like to test the trade entry again. So if I moved the stop to the entry point, sometimes, you know, I would get stopped out, and you know, this is my experience to not to place the stop at the break even, but to secure it at the reaction point, which is the highest point of the reaction right here. So somewhere in here I secured the position to the reaction point, but as you saw, it was really quick and the price reached the take profit, which I took right here as intended. Now let me show you what happened next. The price started to react to that fair value gap, and at this point I must say I was really happy that I actually quit the trade here, because this reaction to the fair value gap did not look good at all. So I was glad that I quit the trade as intended in here. And let me now fast forward a bit so you can see how the whole thing ended up. There was another touch of the level, so if I did not quit the trade at the first chance here, there would be a second chance here, but that doesn't happen too often. And at this point the price reversed and went upwards. So in this video, what I basically wanted to show you is I wanted to demonstrate how important it is to have a proper take profit placement, because if I didn't quit the trade here, then the price would reverse and just, you know, I would get stopped out. So instead of nice winner, I would have a loser or break even trade. It would be a shame because the trade entry was just perfect here. So yeah, that's the importance of proper take profit placement. And I really want you to know that it's not just about the trade entries. I know the trade entries are sexy, people like to talk about trade entries, but the same importance play the take profit and stop loss placement. Alright, now the level that I showed you today here, it was a level that I also published for the members of our trading course. I publish those levels every day in advance so everybody can trade those alongside me. Let me show you. So this is our members area. This is that prediction from the day, and this is the short level that I published in advance so people could trade that alongside me. 1.1732, right? That's this level. 1.1732. If you guys want to join us and trade with me like this every day, you are very welcome to do so. Just go to my website It is traderdale.com, and if you click trading course and tools, then it will take you to this page. Currently I'm running a special Halloween sale, and you can get my educational and indicator packs in here. It's the volume profile pack, order flow pack, VWAP pack, and smart money pack. You can get them separately in here, or scroll down a bit and get all 4 together for a discounted price. And it is until the end of the month, alright? So thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you next time, and until then, happy trading!